back to another episode of Femboy Cooking. You guys seemed to like the last video, so I want to do some more baking. And I found a really good cupcake recipe from a friend. So today we're going to be making some vanilla cupcakes, and I think they're going to be really good. So what you're going to need for this recipe is sugar, flour, vanilla, baking powder, salt, butter, an egg, and milk. But I don't have the milk out yet, but we'll take that out when we need it. Now for this recipe, you're going to want to heat your oven up to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which I'm going to go set up right now. And before we get too into the recipe, I do just want to say that the recipe we're making is very, very small, so it's only going to make about 5 cupcakes. So if you want to make more cupcakes, just double, triple, quadruple the recipe until you can get however many cupcakes you want out of this. Alright, I almost forgot to record this part, but for the first step, we're just going to take flour, baking powder, and salt, and just put it all in that bowl right there. Alright, so I got the flour and baking soda in the bowl. You just got to mix it around a little bit. Now, I would normally put in salt here, but I don't have any unsalted butter, which you should use. So I'm going to use the salt inside of the butter to substitute for the salt that we would normally put in there. Alright, so the next step is going to be whisking the sugar and the egg. I did have to do the egg off camera just because I can't crack an egg with one hand, but we're just going to put the sugar in right now. So I'm going to take that, put it in, and you're just going to mix it up so it's all together. Now it's going to look kind of weird, just kind of slimy, but on top of this, after about 30 seconds of mixing, you're just going to add the vanilla extract and the butter, which we're going to get now. Alright, so we just need 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, so I'm just going to go ahead and pour that out right now. Alright, so that's 1, and it goes. Alright, and this is going to be teaspoon number 2. Right there. And we're just going to throw that in with the rest. Alright, and for this recipe we only need 4 tablespoons of butter, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut that real quick just so we have enough. So we're just going to cut this in half. Perfect. Just like that. We're just going to take this piece of butter right here and put it into the bowl and throw it in the microwave for around like 10 to 15 seconds, whatever you feel is better. We got some soft and melted butter, so I'm gonna go ahead and just throw that right in there like that. And then we just mix that all up. I actually made a pretty big mistake. So what I was supposed to do was melt the butter all the way until it was just a liquid, but I did not do that, as you saw. So I'm gonna have to mix this for a while. If you guys do make this, just make sure you melt the butter all the way. Alright, so I got a lot of the big chunks out. I know there's just a couple tiny ones, but we got everything big out. That'll be mixed in later. But that's what it should look like, I think. Just almost like dough, but we need to add the flour, which is what we're going to do next. We're not going to add all the dry ingredients at once. We're just going to add around half of them, and then mix it up, and then we're going to add the second half and mix it up again. So this is where I was after half the dry ingredients, which it's starting to look a lot more like dough. And I think after we add this extra half, it's going to be perfectly like dough. And with everything mixed in, we have dough. Very happy to say. So I think the next step is just putting it into the pan and throwing it in the oven after we get the cupcake liners out, but I'll double check and get back to you guys. Yeah, so the next step is just putting them into liners and putting them in the oven. I got some very cute liners here, and I'll try and show myself putting them in the liners. Sorry about that. Getting started is kind of difficult. That's fine. Right there. Just want to fill it halfway or 3/4 of the way across 5 of them. Shouldn't be too much. You just want to get enough in 5, and then if you have anything extra after that, then you could put some more into some other ones. And so you don't want to get everything in the bowl, so scrape those edges. Every last little bit go off. These are going to be some really good cupcakes. I might have filled these up a bit too much initially, because I have practically nothing left for the last one. But honestly, what's it matter if we make 4 muffins or 5 muffins? I'm just having a good time, you know? Oh, come on. Just gonna do it soon. And perfect. Yeah, getting all this out of the bowl is very important, so I'm gonna keep working on that. Alright, I think I have enough for this last one here, which is fantastic, because I was really worried there for a second that I wasn't going to be able to finish it. I'm just going to take a little bit from the ones I filled up too much. I'm just going to slap that right in there, try and make these even as possible. Hold on the jacket there. Alright, these look pretty good, so I'm just gonna take these and throw them in the oven for just around 15 minutes or until you can put a toothpick in it and it comes out clean. That's a really good way to tell if it's done or not. Alright, and we're just gonna put them in the oven. While those are cooking in the oven, I'm just gonna do a bit of cleanup and make sure that we're ready to make our frosting. So I cleaned up the entire workstation and I was reading the directions for the frosting so I could tell you guys. And I realized that in the batter that we already put inside the oven, we actually were supposed to add milk to that a little while back, so we fucked up the batter completely, but it's already in the oven. We can't really add milk to it now, so I'm honestly really hoping that they just turn out okay. If you do make this, please add milk. This is very funny. But we're gonna make that frosting now, and we're actually gonna use milk in that, so I'm not gonna forget about it this time. So I'm just gonna measure out some butter real quick. We only need 3 teaspoons, so it's a bit less than before, but we're gonna be left with only a teaspoon left of butter, which really isn't too much. I guess you could use it as table butter, but we only need this. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw that in the microwave. We're gonna go ahead and put those 3/4 cup of powdered sugar in. 2 and 3 right there. There we go. And we're just gonna mix this up until it's one mixture. While I was in the middle of mixing up our frosting, our cupcakes actually came out of the oven ready to go, but they do need to cool first before we actually add any frosting. So it's a good opportunity to let them cool, and it's also a good opportunity to keep making that frosting. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and get that vanilla extract. You just need a 1/4 of a teaspoon, so not too much, but you don't want too little. And that looks pretty good. And in it goes. Alright. We're gonna go ahead and get that milk in. So it says we can have 1 to 2 tablespoons, but not tablespoons, teaspoons. 1 to 2 teaspoons. But since we forgot the milk in the place where it mattered, we're just gonna throw it all in the frosting and put 2 teaspoons of milk. That's 1. Go ahead and put that in. Alright, and teaspoon number 2 of milk is right there. And in it goes. We're gonna mix this up until it's all nice and fluffy like frosting, and then it'll be ready. So we got our frosting right there. I just had to beat it for a couple minutes. And normally what you would do is you'd put it inside of probably a plastic bag, cut the end of it, and squeeze it all over the cupcakes. But I'm kind of running low on time, so I'm just gonna put it on spoonfuls and just plop it onto the cupcakes. Now I know it's a bit crude, but they're cupcakes, they're frosted, and the cupcakes are actually dairy-free if you don't count the frosting, so there's some positives to it. But otherwise I think they look pretty good. I'm gonna go eat one after I finish recording the video, and yeah, I think these turned out really well. Thank you for watching this episode of Femboy Cooking. I hope if you make these cupcakes, they're as delicious as I thought they were. And they're pretty good. If you like the video, just make sure you leave a like and subscribe. And if you turn on notifications, you'll actually know exactly when my next video is released, which is probably going to be next Wednesday. We'll see. If you have any questions about the recipe, because I know I messed it up a lot, just don't be afraid to leave a comment down below. I'll probably answer back within probably an hour, to be honest. Beyond that, just thanks for watching again, and I'll see you all next time.